The old trolley building is built circa 1895. Now we're getting into drugs and prostitutes here. So here's an old photo I pulled out of the archives. I just thought it'd be interesting to input it right here. It's seen a lot of action over the years. At one time, in the Roaring 20s, it's about a 3-story building. On the top is a penthouse. There's residential studios and all retail on the bottom. So about 15,000 square feet footprint. You can see it today at www.oldtrolleybuilding.com. And it's a respectable rental property. I've been managing that for about 6 years now. Here's the old trolley building today after cleaning it up and spending $200,000 to make it look good. So when we took this drug-infested cat house, I mean, there was prostitutes up in the studios working, and it was a real seamy situation there. My job is to be proactive about these kind of things. It's dangerous sometimes. It's filled with gangsters, pimps, ladies of the night, constant police action. It's an enormous stress and anxiety dealing with some of these properties like this. Well, and it's caused some agents to quit over time. But we have high-end properties that are $3,500 a month, single-family homes, big, beautiful estates on the water, vacation rentals. We've had a little bit of everything over the years. I really enjoy the job in general. And this one was quite interesting. It had various uses, including the Tacoma Power Company was in there originally. There was a streetcar line. The streetcar line went through the back of the building on rails, and there was big pits dug underneath where the mechanics would get underneath and work on it. It was a hub station, followed years later by a grocery store, and much later after that it was a mattress store, and it had a carpet liquidator in there, and today there's a antique shop and junk store. That's the best way for me to put it. A lot of nice stuff, but that's what's in there. Anyway, on the other corner of the building, we've had 3 pot shops in there. Mother Earth is cannabis, pot, marijuana. They made a lot of money, man. They made a ton of money in there. They had 2 safes. That's how much money they made in there. Well, the state of Washington laws are changing. They're only allowing recreational marijuana, so they can tax it. It's all about the frickin' money, right? Yeah, that's right, man. Go get that money, brother. Anyway, we've got a hair salon in there, and we've got a big dog groomer on the other side of the building. So a little bit of everything in there. We've got the Tacoma Little Theater, has a wood shop in there to build props for their sets for the theater. Anyway, several prostitutes working out of the studio apartments. And these girls, look, I don't have nothing against prostitutes. It's the world's oldest profession. They're in business because there's plenty of guys that want to frequent their services. One thing is they paid their rent pretty good. There's times when they want to take the rent out and trade. We just don't play those games. It's not worth it to go there. Just don't do it. I know for a fact some landlords do. Not me. This stuff's really good. It tastes like you got fruit in it or something. Anyway, we had a guy in there in Unit 7. This guy was a little bit of everything. He was a gangster, violent nature. Day and night, the cops were called out there. There must have been 40 times they went out to this property just to deal with this guy. Well, called attention, including the girls. Everybody was afraid of this guy. Well, I'm a pretty big guy myself. I used to be 320 pounds. Now I'm above 285. And I'm not the strongest guy in the world. I'm 66 years old. But I'll tell you what, nobody messes with me. I don't take it. I don't care. So I can take a hit. They can bring it. But I went to this guy's door and banged on the door. And he came to the door, and I said, "Hey man, cops come around here all the time. We're gonna have to get you to move out, and you're gonna have an eviction on your record to make us evict you, right?" So I told him this. Man, this guy boiled up with anger. Got his fists all up in a rage. Started getting a red face, all puffed up, pumped up, and all this. He got up in my face. He said, "Who do you think you're talking to?" And so I said, "Hello, sir. But as you know, I'm the manager of the building. Deal the drugs out of here. The apartment's in jeopardy. The police are coming all the time. Everybody's scared of you except me." I said, "I have no fear whatsoever. If you want to bring it, we'll bring it right now." Man, I was ready. There were several times before I came up the stairs when I was in the car, I envisioned what would happen. And I thought about all the scenarios. He might just jump out suddenly and try to punch me. And what I would have done is slapped his fist away and jacked him right in the nose, just bang. Or, I had all this stuff in my mind. As I was coming up the stairs, I was thinking, man, my adrenaline was going because this guy was, scary dude, right? So, and then I thought, come upstairs, he'll open the door, he might come out with a knife or a gun to come toward me, and what I'll do is I'll give him an oblique kick. So, oblique kick, and I'll just kick his kneecap, That generally would take people out of action. Anyway, let me sit down. So, dude opens the door, does all this, gets in my face. I tell him, the manager, he don't care. I said, man, if you want to bring it out here, I said, I'll take a little of your action on. I'll try you out, man. Come on, man. But I was right up, I didn't back down, not 1 inch. So as he was pressing up, like getting up on me, I said, man, but if you don't back off right now, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. And I guess he could tell I was serious. So he just suddenly, all the piss and vinegar went out of him, and I don't know. He started backing up a little bit. He stopped acting that big. His chest went down, and this wasn't my first rodeo. I've been down this road before, and I guess he could tell I'm not scared of him. So I don't know. I think I assessed the situation properly. I knew the ground upon which I'm finding myself deployed. He didn't. So what happened in the end, he backed off. He said, "Oh, sir, well, okay, I'm sorry." Man, this guy packed up, he moved out. Within 5 days, he was gone. Problem solved, right? Okay. So, anyway, but that was the way that went. So, but these were about $400 a month apartments. They're cheap. There's no apartments, there's nothing for rent for $400 a month in the entire county, in Pierce County. Well, today they're up to $695 a month, and the owner has allowed me to remodel and recondition. We put about $240,000 into the building, but it needed a lot of work. They had single pane windows. The owner was going to put in some new windows. He had a buddy that got him a bid for $35,000, and he gave me the bid sheet. Said, "Here, get these windows put in." Well, that was when I first took over. And I said, "No problem. Glad to do that for you, sir. I'll get that done right away. By the way, can I ask you one favor?" And he said, "Sure." I said, "Can I get one more bid from a company that I know, that I trust?" "Sure." He said, "Go ahead." So I got the bid. His bid was $35,000, and my bid was $16,000. Same windows. $20,000. Man, I was a hero. I couldn't do nothing wrong. That set the stage for everything that came after that. any decision I had to make, whatever. And I was always, right to this day, I've always been good. I've been honest with that guy. We've had to make a little bit of money, we do. And I'll tell you right now, Tim, if you're watching this, the fact is, on that $16,000, I made 10%. I got $1,600. I think I told you about it in the email, but if I didn't, well, you know, just let you know right now. You saved 20 grand, and I made $1,600. You guys did a great job. Yeah, they did it with a permit and did the job right. But the guy that was going to put it in was really pissed at me after that. He just was not happy. I don't care. I didn't care. Anyway, we walk quietly, but we carry a big stick. And this is what we need to know, what we need our clients to know. I want owners to know that. I want tenants to know that. Anybody wants to play games, they need to know that. We hire our own attorneys. We actually have 3 attorneys with Ed McFerrin, Martin Burns, and Frederick. Fred. My mind just suddenly went blank. Anyway, so we got these 3 attorneys. We use whatever we need at the time. So here's the thing: the place is a fire trap. If a fire started in that building, it would go up like a bomb exploded in it. We've had the Smith Fire Systems down there on a regular basis, checking things out, make sure our systems are good. We've had the fire department down there. They even used that building for training for 6 other districts and had, I don't know, 10 or 12 fire trucks down there at one time for training. So it's a dirty job, you know, in a lot of ways like that. So we just have to deal with, and I don't mean dirty like dirt, but a lot of ins and outs, things to deal with. So the place was in pretty much disrepair when I took over. He had a bad tenant downstairs that just would not leave. He had some verbal lease with the old owner, and we couldn't prove it otherwise. It's legal in the state of Washington. He didn't know how to evict this guy. So, but anyway, we finally hit. We went from $6,000 a month to about $15,000 a month in income, rental income. So, you know, it had to be done. That's our job. We did it. We made some major changes. It cost a little bit of money, but well worth it. The working girls were hot, but they had to go. The drug dealers were tough. Along with the prostitutes, they had to go. It was their time to go. A couple of my guys over the years had carry permits. They were able to carry a pistol right on their hip. This came in handy a couple of times just for show. I don't always want to confront a guy face to face like I did that drug dealer. I just felt I could handle that, so I handled it. There's been times when I'm not sure if the people on site that we're going to have to confront might have a pistol or a gun. They could pull it at us and shoot us dead, so I don't know. I did have this one guy, I'd like to call him Jimmy. That's not his name, but anyway, yeah, let's see, I want to tell that story. Well, I've already told the story about the buddy that saved the owner. I got to catch up where I'm at here. I'm reading a script off my view screen. I have a 70-inch view screen here. So anyway, excuse me. Well, there's education and there's education. I've seen some pretty smart guys come out of college, the university education, diploma, and all that. Sometimes without street smarts or practical application, the book learning didn't do a whole lot of good. I chose, even though I graduated from high school, had a little college, but I just never did go through a complete college graduation. I just took courses that I thought I needed. Some things just turned to work out okay. I came from a Wisconsin family. We were Germans, and my whole family had dairy farms. The old grandpa had 5 sons, and the sons had farms next to him. So you have 160 acres times 6. And we had quite a bit of territory locked up at one time, dairy farming and so on. These guys grew up tough. They grew up hard. They come up through, just prior and during World War II. And all my uncles, including my dad, went into the war, World War II. They went into various services, Air Force, Navy, Army, Air Corps. They split up between Army and the Air Corps and Marines. So there's quite a split there. So they kept their heads down, all came back with ribbons on their chest. But they had to live under an iron fist. Grandpa was tough. He's a mean old man. They had enough to eat. They lived on a farm, but it was tough. So work started at 4 a.m. and before going to school, they had to milk cows. And a lot of times they'd have cow shit on their old worn shoes. Boys made fun of them and pushed them around school. They had to be tough. Uncle Fred was a boxing champion. The boys just, I don't know, that's how they grew up. So they all come back, and when they come back from the war, they all went into the police work. My Uncle Mitchell was a chief of police in Osceola, Wisconsin. Uncle Fred went into the sheriff's department in St. Paul, Minnesota. Uncle Charles, he worked for the sheriff's department for a while, but he also owned a construction business. Couldn't read or write, but he could spell his name, and that was it. When he made a lot of money, owned a construction company, and that was the 20s, 30s, 40s, back in them days. Now, don't get me wrong, the guys that own the trolley building, they're really smart. They're actually criminal attorneys. But just like the $20,000 that I saved them, they got other things to go do. They couldn't manage that building and worry about what the cost should be. So that was my job. I handled it. I did right by them. We got a new roof on there. They got a bid of $60,000. I got a roofer to give us a lifetime guarantee and did it for $50,000. So anyway, but I'm street smart in my own way. So I started working for real money when I was 10 years old. Even though Dad had a job, we had 6 kids in the family. Mom did not work. Not at that time when I was younger. All of us kids slept in one bedroom. I've got 6 sisters. Back then there was about 4 of them and me, and it was, but we didn't have a lot to eat, but Dad worked, so I was out in the neighborhood working, cutting grass, making money. I'd make $5 and my mom, I'd give it to her, and she'd be able to buy, back in then, that was 1960, and she could buy milk and eggs, and that $5 went, it did pretty good back then. Of course, gas was 20 cents a gallon too. I know one girl in the neighborhood, she was squeezing lemons when she would sell lemonade on a corner. A couple other girls wanted to do it, so she hired them, made them go get the lemons and cut them and squeeze them, and she just sat there and took the money. Smart girl. Anyway, so back at the old trolley building, my money was to straighten things out, get those people out there. One of these guys, was a pack rat. This guy, we had 30-foot ceilings in this warehouse section of the building in the back where the trolleys used to go through. He had stuff stacked up to the ceiling. I mean, there's barely a way to navigate through there. I mean, I don't know. The guy had to be something wrong with this guy. He wouldn't move out. Contacted an attorney, got an attorney to help him stay there. The guy was nasty. I mean, he had a stuffed sheep that he was messing with. When we finally got this guy out, man, that sheep was stinky. This is a full-time sheep, and it was stinky. Oh man, I don't know what he was doing. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't want to talk about what he'd been doing. But anyway, we threw that shit out. We negotiated with this rather nasty tenant. Rather than do an eviction as the faster and cheaper way to get him out, cheaper by far than a court action eviction, we offered a free moving truck and 2-day labor helpers, 2 days of labor helpers, plus $1,000 cash. So we did that. We took 5 loads with a big U-Haul truck. I don't know, what's the biggest U-Haul truck they got? 36 feet, whatever it was. We took 5 loads to the dumps. It was very expensive dump fees and everything else. But if we hadn't have done that, we could have evicted him, paid all the eviction costs. Evicting him means we just kick his ass out in the street. We would have still had to clear all that crap out of there. And he could have hung on for 2 or 3 more months. So we got him out of there. It was the best financial decision. It took the least amount of time, the most cost efficient. So sooner or later, we'd have had to pay the costs anyway. So the partners came to trust me as much as they could, I suppose. Being criminal attorneys, I don't think they'd trust anybody. But they allowed me to replace all the windy original wood single pane windows. Now get it, these windows were stuck. They were stuck shut. I don't know how many windows were in there, but anyway, I don't remember how many, but 28 windows. But anyway, they wouldn't open. They were stuck shut. And they were wood. And they were old. It was like something you'd see in an old old Wild West movie. You know, Wild West. The good guy would ride into town, and here'd be the saloons and whorehouse and stuff, all wood frame, wood windows that would slide up like that, you know. And so, anyway, we replaced them all, got efficient vinyl windows in there. The heating was terrible. One guy put $10,000 worth of gas heating in there, no permit, and it was red flag. The city of Tacoma red flagged it, said you can't take a central heating and have the heat move from one apartment to the next apartment and spread germs that way and who knows what. So of course I was wrong. So they got all pulled out. I think we still got the tubes laying up in the attic, and I convinced them to do that. And we put individual heating units in that were gas, extended gas furnace. And Washington Energy Services did that. But again, these tenants had rights. The landlord-tenant law is very strong here, and you know, they let me make the electrical system as best as we could possibly make it. A lot of old knob and tube wiring mixed with old Romex wiring. What a mess. So we've had about $30,000 spent on that. It's going to take $60,000 to fix all of it. So we're not doing it all right now. Anyway, that's enough of my story right now. I'm going to run out of time. Well, I ran out of time. I've actually ran this thing too long. I'm going to talk about extortion next. Man, I'm telling you, there's some interesting things coming up. I'm not the best narrator. I love what I do. It's a very interesting business to be in. There's a lot more to be said, and hopefully you hang in there and watch the rest of it. I'm not sure if I'll split this in 2 parts though, but take care. Have a great day. See you later.